Today we're going to review how to adjust the pressure switch on a McCann's 2.5 gallon water booster. Before we get into the adjustment, we'll go over some components of the water booster. We will start with the motor. Its job is to drive the water pump to increase our water pressure to our tank. Next is the water inlet. This is the incoming water coming from the main water supply in the building to the booster system. Then our incoming water goes through our water pump. Its job is to increase our water pressure to push it into our tank. Attached to the water pump is a backflow preventer. This prevents any pressurized water traveling back into the city supply. Then our water travels through the water manifold, which pushes the water into our tank, and also the pressurized water that's in the tank will travel back through that same manifold. The tank has a bladder inside. It has an air charge that pushes on that bladder. That's what increases our water pressure coming out of the booster system. On top of the water manifold is a pressure switch. This is what's turning on and off our motor to add more water to our tank. We have a gauge which shows us how much pressure is built up inside of that tank. We also have a relief valve. If for whatever reason the motor is stuck on and builds increased pressure, this will relieve that excess pressure. We're also going to use that relief valve to dial in our pressure switch, and we'll show that to you in a moment. Then finally, we have the water outlet. This is where our pressurized water is exiting the water booster and sending that water downstream to our system. This booster does have a bladder inside the tank. That is what's pushing our water. The bladder is pushed by air. So on the back of our tank, we do have a Schrader valve, and this is where we measure how much air charge is in the water booster. Now, to take an accurate measurement, you have to ensure there's no water in the tank, it's empty. On this model, we want 40 psi of pressure. If we're under, we're going to have to take an air compressor and charge to 40 psi. Ensure you screw on the cap to protect that Schrader valve. Before installing your water lines, I encourage you to unplug the pressure switch and also make sure it's not plugged into the wall. Hook up your incoming water line. Make sure you use the correct washer and don't over tighten. Same thing goes with the line going out. As a washer, make sure you don't over tighten. Once your lines are connected to the booster, turn on your pressure from the wall and check for leaks. As the needle stops, reflecting how much water pressure is coming out of the wall to the booster, we want to plug in the booster in the wall and then plug in our pressure switch. Allow the booster to run until it stops. It's building pressure. This could take 30 seconds or so. To verify where the pressure switch is cutting in and cutting out, we want to install a temporary hose on the relief valve drain. When we open the relief valve, it's going to push out water out of that tank. So ensure your water line is either in a 5-gallon bucket or find a floor drain nearby. Now gently pull down on the relief valve, allowing water to drain out of the tank. To observe where it cuts in, and then when the motor stops, observe when it cuts out. If it's not in spec, we're going to go over the steps on how to adjust the pressure switch. To access the adjustment spring, we're going to remove the cover off the pressure switch. Now, before any adjustments, let me explain what we're looking at here. We have a set of contactors underneath that lid. When the contactors are in the open position, the switch is open, no power going to the motor. As pressure drops in the tank, the contactors will close and provides power to our motor. The motor is going to run until we build up pressure, and then the contactors will spring open, which stops the flow of power to our motor. Adjusting our pressure switch. In this first example, we're going to set our cut-in pressure at 75 psi and our cut-out pressure at 95 psi. That 20 psi difference between 75 and 95. That's called the differential. That is built into the single spring pressure switch. So step 1, we want to unplug the pressure switch. Step 2, we're going to open the relief valve and start draining water out of the tank. We're going to lower that pressure until 75 psi in this example. Step 3, we're going to look at the contactors. Are they open or closed? Here, it's in the closed position, so we have to reset that contactor spring. We're going to turn the nut driver counterclockwise until the contactors snap open. Next step is to turn that screw clockwise until the contactors snap closed. We want the contactor to close at 75 psi. Step 5, plug in the pressure switch. So the motor is going to run and build pressure. The contactor will open at 20 psi from the cut-in point, so opens at 95. Your switch is now set for cut in at 75, cut off at 95 psi. Now, if we have to adjust our pressure switch up, 80 psi is the cut in, 100 psi is the cut out. Step 1, we're going to unplug the pressure switch. Step 2, we're going to manually open that relief valve and drain water out of our tank. And we're going to drain it down to 80 psi. Step 3, we're going to look at our contactors. Are they open or closed? In this example, they are open. So all I need to do is turn the adjustment screw clockwise until it snaps shut. We want it to snap shut at 80. Once it's shut, we're going to plug in our pressure switch, allow the motor to run, and you're going to notice it cuts off around the 100 psi mark. So we just set it for it. Kick on at 80 psi, kick off at 100 psi. And that's how you adjust the pressure switch on a water booster.